Hello, hello. How's it going, Lila?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Great.
Everybody, as you guys are joining us here in the first 2 minutes, throw in the comments here. What is one thing you really want to know about how to accelerate your career or any big questions that you have for us? And I think, Lila, while we're doing that, I think we should explain our backgrounds. What do you think?
I think so too. Yeah, we got some bright backgrounds, bright colors. Let's see what's going on here.
Want to lead us off?
Yes, let's do it. So I'm gonna move my head this way so you can see it. SDR Nation, I love them with a passion. I was a founding member back in, oh goodness, June 2020. So right when the pandemic was hitting, everything was going remote. All SDRs felt like they were on islands, and Michael Galliano and Charlie Lockton, or yeah, Locken. Hopefully, I'm saying their names right, their last names. They're actually both from Canada, or from there and living there. They're just two amazing guys who just wanted to really help SDRs have purpose, but then also have a community to really engage with. And they brought on 50 to the community right off the bat. And I was so lucky that one of their mentors, Jen Spencer, who is now the CEO of SmartBug, so happy for Jen. She was actually my mentor in college, and she was like, "Hey, sign up right away. This is going to be a huge like community." And I signed up, and I have a feeling that I was like the top person that signed up, like the number one person. But I I love the community. Like they had obviously like social selling coach with social Sarah Brazier, Jen Spencer helped with like buyer personas. Um, there was people for like career. I mean, our conversation today for career acceleration and just like what to do and how to help them. Cold calling. There was so many areas where you can help and just get support, as well as just like SDRs like to help SDRs, right? So I learned and met some of my closest friends today are people from this community. So can't get enough. I can talk about it all day. So if you are SDR Nation, represent in the chat. Let me know. Would love to see your name there. But yeah, this is why I have this background because it was so pivotal right at the start of my SDR career and sales
I,
career.
I had a hard time with this challenge because I was trying to figure out what really kickstarted my growth or what had the biggest impact. And I said I came across this, and I hear somebody's gonna say it's a classic, I'm sure. Oh, I I picked
It's
the wrong one.
reversed.
Oops. So this one, the one I want, it was Dale Carnegie, but the one I wanted, I might accidentally pick the wrong one. But this is How to Stop Worrying, which is also a good trait as a salesperson to know how to do.
SDR Nation.
But what I want, it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And the
Ooh, that's
reason
good.
why I picked it is there's other sales books that had a big impact, but it actually started the whole endeavor of me investing in myself. Before that, I felt lost and I felt like I was going nowhere quickly. You know, when you first start out, you can't get it. Nobody wants to help you. You're really not sure what to say. Like prospecting is an ugly experience and you're so nervous. Then I read this book and it literally added a zero to my commission checks. And I started to actually make decent money. But I realized that in order to keep growing, I had to invest in myself. So I got a library card and I was usually at the library every day reading sales books, reading every little book I could. And I would encourage anyone, if you're looking to advance your knowledge, don't read just the books you think you need to read. Read tons of other books because for some reason our brains will just naturally pull something from every book. And I feel like it makes us stronger salespeople in the process.
Yeah, amen. And there's tons of podcasts out there too, like the 30 Minutes to President Club. And,
Oh
if
yeah.
you're an auditorial listener just like me, like it's hard for me to focus on a book. So I put everything in like a Kindle. And yeah, it's amazing. Highly
Going
suggest.
1 to 10. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you, everybody that's in the comments. I really
Yes.
appreciate it and the questions that we're getting. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I'm seeing some SDR Nation people, seeing some ideas around maybe tips on breaking the ice with cold calling and emails, which is always helpful. Prospecting. Um, Biggest obstacles from SDR to AE and what did you overcome? Thank
Great
you, Zachary.
question.
That is that is exactly kind of what I want to touch on too, with just like your career acceleration. Because I mean, usually in your sales career, you get into the SDR role and then you go into the AE role, right? So it's like it's kind of your path, unless you want to do different realms. But yeah, I don't know if we want to jump right into it.
One thing, as we're about to start in this next topic, what was one thing that really helped your career? There's other people here that are just starting in sales. What is one thing that you helped you? Whether it was a course, maybe you're with Aspireship, maybe it was, a book, maybe it was a community. What was it? Let's tag them and let's get people in here so that we can start helping everyone else. So, on the agenda, what type of company should you work for? I don't think people realize just how big of a piece of the puzzle this is.
Yeah, it's like, after college that you're going to be an SDR. Like that's the lowest of the totem pole at a company. You can't just go right into being an AE. Some companies you can, but it's not the companies you want to work for. The ones that you really want to grow in, that are like really good products and tools, and just you can grow in your career. It's going to be okay. So when I was graduating college, I was like, okay, you have really no idea. Like I had no idea what Gong was. Like if I knew what Gong was, I would have applied to Gong, And if I knew some of these technologies that were like integral and that are super hot right now, and their content and their marketing, like marketing meant a lot to me. Like if they had really good marketing and their sales are hitting their number, like I want to work for them. So I had no idea. I was like, okay, I want to work for Adobe. I want to work for Google. I want to work for Amazon, like all the big names that you think you should work for. And I only see the names that I saw at my career fair, right?
Mm.
And none of those people I want to work for. I was like, I want to work for a new tech startup, or like mature tech startup that really is, paving the way. So when you think
Would you
about
do
what
it again?
say it again.
Would you do it again? Would you keep that same plan of attack, or would you change it up?
Well, I had a lot. So I got my SDR role May 2020 or June 2020. So I was just kind of like trying to get a job because COVID hit.
Mm.
And a lot of the companies that I was interviewing for, like Adobe, like HubSpot, like ones that I was really excited for, they went on a hiring freeze. Um, and the one that wasn't on a hiring freeze was Telium. And I was super excited to work for them because they were in San Diego. And they were, little did I know at that time, it was the best place for me to be at, because there's a lot of tech companies that started in like 2013, and they're now like mature startups, and they got all the kinks, and all the, they're GDPR certified, and all the security things, and the processes, the training, the managers, the systems, the culture, like it's all built in. But they're still like, pre-IPO, and they're like still a rocket ship, right? So like these
Mm-hmm.
companies, that's exact moment that you want to join them. And man, it was insane. I learned so much. And then I guess like our next topic is, where do you want to join the team? Like as a SDR, like what spot do you want to join? And you can't really choose. But I remember my interview process, they were like, okay, you're going to be a commercial SDR on the team. And then a week later, when I joined, they're like, okay, actually, we need help on the enterprise team. You're going to be an enterprise SDR. And I was like, oh, boom. Like, I don't even need a promotion. Like, that seems like a higher thing to me. And man, I am so glad I got that patch, because instead of having thousands of accounts, I got 100 accounts or something in that sorts, or 75. And it was like Best Buy and Target and Principal Financial Group and like US Bank and just like huge companies. So I am talking to C levels, VPs, reaching out to them and having to cultivate this knowledge and or transfer this knowledge of like what Telium was to them, and try to bridge this connection with them. Like I'm just a college, I just finished college, and I'm trying to understand the space of what they're going through. So I would highly suggest, if you can choose at a company, to be on enterprise, because it just blows your mind. Instead of, well, the prospecting is different too, like the quality on enterprise compared to like a lot of the quantity that you're probably gonna have to do on commercial, or mid-market or SMB. It's a lot. However, the experience that I got was really great for me, but my experience actually going for the SDR, or I'm sorry, the AE role. So obviously the AE role was the SMB AE role. So a lot of the SDRs who was on the commercial team working with that manager and all those AEs had a direct connection with them, and it was easier for them to get that role a little bit because it was very transferable because they knew that space. So take it as you come, because enterprise is definitely a different sales motion than SMB. And then obviously I was an AE who was mid-market SMB. So I got that experience as well. So each are good, but those are kind of the pros and cons of each. But I don't know, did I miss anything?
No, I I started the other way around. I worked for a huge company. I was just a cog in the wheel or in the system. It was a numbers game. Nobody cared about you, and you didn't really. There wasn't a lot of opportunities to move up,
Yeah.
and so either they just hired people externally. So I left and I went to startup world, and that's a whole different beast too because it's a lot of volume and you're building the plane as you're trying to fly it, and it was really tough. And if I were to do it all over again, I would have done what you did and I would have joined a rocket ship that was mature, that gave me opportunity to grow and learn with them as they were growing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the money for the right tech. They had, they had product market fit. So they knew who they were selling to. And it took so much of the guesswork out and the hard work. So you could also make good money and have the team to support you too. I never had that for a lot of my first roles. Wasn't until later. And it slows your growth a lot and it puts a lot on you. So if you're in this situation, feel free to reach out, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. And then same with when I was selling to SMB, it was crazy numbers, like 100 plus cold calls a day, stupid amount of emails.
Oh, I think he froze. But I guess to pick up on what he's saying is there's so much activity that you have to do. I think you froze, Nicholas.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a lot of activity in SMB. Well, maybe it's my internet. Uh-oh.
Okay, you're good now.
Weird. Yeah, the enterprise was really great because you got to really invest in those companies.
Yeah. He's freezing. I know, really take a screenshot. Um, yeah, I guess obviously the sentiment of what he's saying is enterprise is a lot of quality outreach, and then SMB mid market is a lot of quantity because you have to get in front of a lot of different accounts. So I would definitely suggest. Oh, here I am. um, enterprise. You good now?
I don't know. That's super weird. I've never had to do that before.
That's okay. First time for everything. Last comment on this, but maybe before we move on to another topic, to give you some ideas, I would do like employee count be around 500 to 600 to 700, 800. Like I would say 500 to 800 would probably be a good starting point if you're looking at jobs or companies right now. Also like seed C to like seed G or something like that. Like I would say between there is good. So making sure that they are getting quality funding, like Nick was saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
cool. Oh, switch
Oh,
this around.
I'm just seeing you're frozen on my screen, so I don't know why.
Oh, really? Am I frozen, everyone? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, he's freezing on my screen. Technical difficulties, of course. No worries. Um, I want to talk about how to stand out on your profile and your resume when once you uncovered what person thank you for telling or not what person, what company you want to go after, like kind of what size, and then you kind of do reverse engineering, and you kind of want to like you're frozen for me but Nick is interesting. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Today is interesting. But yeah, once you uncover the company, you obviously need to know like how to reach out to recruiters. So, what are you supposed to do? And I would say the biggest thing is to have a really good profile. Um, and to have a good profile, you need to make it personal and make it approachable, And if you've never seen my profile, maybe you have since you're watching this, I have a little video there. And then I also have like a little voice note. So I just feel like to catch people's attentions, um, bye, Lauren. Thanks for coming. You really want to just have a good profile. Like that's going to be your first, like your landing page of you. So, your about section, like I just helped somebody with this. They made it very like company information, but like make it about you. Like make it about you. Because if you scroll down, you're gonna have all your work information there. So in your about me, make sure it's about you actually. And yeah, just make it personable. I'm started talking about profiles and things you could do to stand out, Nicholas.
Yeah. And please don't write it in the third person. That
Yeah.
is like my greatest pet peeve when I review profiles, because it says, hey, I'm not actually here. You're not going to talk to me. So this is just a placeholder to go and say how amazing I am. But thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. No, you definitely want to make sure it's personal. So first person, have a good profile picture, have a good background, make sure your headline is catchy, makes sense, and maybe something similar about you, like where you work, and then maybe some like podcast you're on, and then some kind of quote that you have. People have long headlines because when you post, you'll see a lot along of it. But yeah, I guess in other ways you can reach out to recruiters and just like have your resume pop out. We're not going to do like a resume workshop, but like what you can do on LinkedIn to really kind of do community building to get your name in front of them is just a lot of people don't do this. Instead of going right to the job website and applying with your resume, go to the recruiter first and reach out to them and reach out to a lot of people on the teams, certain teams. Honestly, what I would do, I would go to a company that I loved. Like let's say Gong, I'd go to Gong and I would just like connect with every single person, like a lot of people, to try to increase my chances of then reaching out to all of them, letting them know like kind of like what I'm about, connecting with them, and then getting communication with them and asking questions. I would know a lot about a company before I even like talk to a recruiter. So this is the biggest like gap I see people not doing. Send voice notes, send video notes, like send your resume to people, ask them if they think it's good. Another thing that I didn't know before, which is kind of corporate world, people get money for referrals. So use them, and they're actually really excited for you to use them. So I don't know. Those are just some tips I would say to really put yourself in front of people before you're even like in an interview process with them. Like sometimes I would reach out to people, have really awesome combos, and they just see me as like another person, salesperson. And then I'm like, hey, I'm interviewing for your company actually, yada yada. And then later down the line, I would interview with them, So it's like imagine the chances of you getting the job is just gonna be way higher. So
Yeah. I've noticed that I've actually, for the B2B Power Hour, I've interviewed a few people about this. And basically, if you don't have metrics on your page, you haven't stayed at a company for about 2 years and have been promoted like quite a few times, if you're not exceeding quota by a lot and really stand out on the metric side, they'll ignore you. But if you've been commenting, you've been part of their community, they know your name before you walk in that room, that works out to your advantage.
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, there's a lot that you can dig into, especially if you're looking for a new job, and there's a lot you can do. You're not helpless. Also, it's a sales market right now. Like everyone wants salespeople. So no, this is all about accelerating your career growth and knowing what company to go after, knowing how to go after your recruiters, and then it's like having the confidence of knowing what role you're going after too, and kind of the games that you play. So another thing, Zachary just made a comment, and I'm just going to touch on this, Nicholas. Like, he asked, would you recommend going from SDR to commercial AE? Well, that's your only option, unfortunately, because not a lot of people. You go to SDR and then you have to go to SMB SMB AE usually if it's a good company. It has all of the territories aligned, and then you usually go from SMB AE to commercial, and then to enterprise. Sometimes the commercial is SMB as well, so it depends. But let me just tell you, from going from a SDR role, trying to get promoted at my company, and then getting a new AE role elsewhere, it is very tough. It's slim picking. I mean, maybe it's better now that it's kind of a AE market, like everyone wants AEs, but they don't go after SDRs really for AE roles. Some companies do, but it's very rare because the SDR function is a lot different from the AE function. Let me just tell you that. The prospecting is still there a little bit if you're doing prospecting in the AE world, but presenting, it's almost like project management. You have to learn this whole new language of how to speak to people, how to not get ghosted. Like, it's the same but different, you know? So, very much so, you know, I would recommend to everybody, this is going to be a big thing to, because the road that I did from going from an SDR role at a really great company and the one that I actually wanted to be an AE at to going to a company that's also good but smaller and not the one that potentially I see my long term with, you know, it was tough. You know, it was tough because then you have to potentially go to another company. So once you get in the switching mode, you're probably going to have to keep going until you get that product fit because the product is really important, you know. So, but also just getting the title of AE is also important. So before getting into the mix of like, I need to go for the AE promotion, they're not hiring me, they're not, you know, none of it's going right. It's all going wrong. You know, it's taking too long. I'm a year and 8 months and they're not promoting me. I'm doing all this stuff and they're, you know, there's no support on the AE team. If you kind of realize these things that you're kind of trapped, before even getting a role out of college, if you're seeing this, get a company that you could see yourself being an AE at. Because it's so challenging to hop and get an AE role from an SDR role. So all of this stuff that I'm telling you of what company to go after, you know, all this stuff is like really important. And yeah, I mean, some of the questions I guess Nicholas you can add to, like, ask in the interview, how many of the sales team is hitting quota, right? Ask about the AE pathway. What is the bridge program? Do you guys even have a bridge program? Do you guys hire outside AEs, you know, or do you promote from within? Like demand base, we have a bridge program. We have an SDR enablement team, and we have a bridge program to help people go from SDR function to train them, have them take some tests, and then go to be an AE or whatever kind of realm they want. So, I mean, SDR enablement is super important, and that's obviously we can talk more about that, and that's why I love it because I can help SDRs and kind of clear their path to accelerate. But yeah, man, like, you really have to know what company you're going into and know what you're getting into. Because if you invest a year of your time or a year and a half, 2 years of your time, and you're not going anywhere in the company, that like is so sad to me, you know, because either you have to go to another company and start a BDR role all over again. And I was not about to do that. So I went to a different company and worked my way up. But yeah, just, it's a bummer. Like, don't let the A teams push you around. Like, if they're just pushing you off and like, oh, you didn't get it this time, but you're going to get it next time, or like wait around 6 months, wait around a year. Like, I just had a friend that she's been telling me she's like in the process, in the queue for like a year and a half for getting this going. And I just feel so bad for her. I'm like, sometimes the grass is greener. Like, look at a different company, you know? Like, don't let them just, because management will tell you anything to keep you. They want a good SDR. They want a ramped SDR that's like hitting their numbers. So don't let them push you around. You need to continue in your growth and get more. Hey, Anthony. In your growth, and you want to make more money, you know? So it's like the more titles you get, the more money you get, the more opportunities you get. You know, when I was an AE, I could have gone a lot of different ways. So yeah, I don't know. Nick, do you want to layer in on top of anything that I just said? That was just my experience.
I think you hit it perfectly. Basically, if you can't see your career trajectory and they're like, you know, we always hire externally or we don't provide any training, that's really tough. The other one is too, don't wait till you get the role to learn. That's where I never learned proper discovery until after I was in the role, and I had to struggle and basically got put on a PIP, and they basically said get better or get lost. And so I started reading about discovery, but normally it was just qualification as an SDR. I was really good at qualifying, getting in the door and booking the meeting. I never had to find like deep problems with pain, quantify it, and like manage a timeline, bring in different resources. It was a whole new skill set, and it was tough. And if I would have started that sooner, the transition would have been so much easier.
Yeah, to double down on that, I agree. Prepare yourself, because some companies don't even prepare you. They'll just like be like, oh, here's your manager. All right, here's your patch. Let's go. And you're like, I have no idea how to do this role. I was just prospecting, you know? So listen to 30 Minutes to President's Club, like listen to podcasts, meet with AEs that you want to be that AE, like not just enterprise AEs that you meet every day, like I did. Meet with commercial AEs. Start learning, start discoing and practicing, because it will help a lot. Start telling your managers that you want to do this really early on, because I've seen people not get opportunities or get a seat at the table for the interview just because they didn't know what they wanted to do yet. So even if you don't know yet, let them know that, hey, I potentially want to be an AE. Like, I think that's my path. I'm open to other things, but like, that's my, you know. So if you have your number one, like, go for it and tell them. Meet with the managers too. Meet with the managers. You got to play the political game a little bit, schmooze up to them, because they kind of go with people that they want on their team. And that's just how it goes, unfortunately.
I will add
So,
in, you can make good money as an SDR
yes.
at the right company.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you like social selling and you're good at, getting the meetings and you've invested in yourself, I know quite a few SDRs that are making good six figures and have it down to a science, and their life is not as stressful as it once was.
Yeah, totally. You can definitely make good money there, but I think kind of talking about like increasing your earning potential, um, sometimes just getting a title, like getting the AE. Like I remember when I got the AE role, when I finally got the AE role, the first month, people were in my inboxes like, "Oh, you can make 100K a year, 120 OTE," and I was like, "I literally have just been an AE for one month. Like, I have no experience. Like, why would they want me right now?" So, you know, 8 months, 9 months, a year in an AE role, like you are set. Like you can go anywhere. So if you're feeling down right now as an SDR and you're like, okay, I don't see the future at my company with the AE role. I don't know how to get this AE role. How do I bridge it? Just figure out how to get it. Like take a role somewhere. Just be an AE. Use your best judgment to then set yourself up for your future. So yeah, if you've gotten to a company and you're like, I'm at a dead end with this company, I didn't do the pre-work, to the vetting of the companies. Just focus on how do you get better? How do you get a manager title? How do you get a AE title? How do you get a marketing title? Like whatever you want to go into, work really, really hard to get that, improve yourself. And yeah, you will increase your earnings. Trust me. I've had three base increases from the three companies I've at, and now I'm doing pretty good, and um, it's just like your next role, always make more, always try to make more, always make more. So yeah, I know we have 1 minute left, but did you want to touch on anything around like earning potential and like the grass is greener kind of vibe?
The biggest with this is just know your numbers and know your worth. They go hand in hand. When you know your numbers and you can reverse engineer your day to day to hit those numbers, and please don't make those numbers off a quota. Make it like 50% over quota or something else. But once you know your numbers, your earning potential will follow if you stay to your process. If the company doesn't give you a process, create one or reach out to the community and build one. But the most critical thing you can do is network and have a process and
Mhm.
tie that process to numbers.
Totally. Yeah. On your resume, have exactly all the numbers that you hit, pipeline that you created, how many meetings you're supposed to get, how many targets that you hit, like that's going to help you. If you don't have the closing, like I closed this deal, that deal, whatever, um, hard work is always paid off, is going to pay off. So, put that on your resume. If you need more help, leverage us, leverage your community, leverage podcast to really learn. And yeah, set yourself up for success, and everyone's going to be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, where can
Cool.
everybody follow you? Do you have any other resources you'd like to add in, Lila, before we're done for the
I
day?
mean, go to SDR Nation if you need help. They have so much content there to help. I mean, Bravado, Rev Genius, like there's if you're in podcasting, Salescast, like I love all of those environments and communities. Just dig into it, get to know people who are podcasting. Like I have the Creativity Lab. I post a lot about this as well. I mean, I do want to post my journey too. I think I shared a little bit and some of the frustrations I've had because it's not perfect. It really isn't perfect. And it's kind of a political battle. And like, gosh, it is tough, but I feel a lot calmer now that I've put in the work and I did it and I got through those kind of rougher years. So, just believe in yourself and reach out to your peers and yeah, let us know if you need anything else.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Look
Thanks,
forward to
guys.
seeing you guys in the comments on LinkedIn.
Yes. And see you next
And
time.
see you next week. Same time,
Okay.
same place. Bye.
Bye.